Hello everyone, welcome to IxamBee. Embrace the IxamBee learning experience for 50% faster job preparation. On the 15th of January, the result for the IBPS SO Law Officers for the cycle of 25 came out and the results were announced. A lot of selections have happened. Along with that, the last week we also saw the release for the 2026-27 calendar. IBPS recruits every year, which helps to recruit at the bank level various law officers. In this video, we are going to talk about what is the dates for the 26 cycle, when your exam is going to be held, what is the past cutoff trend, what is the syllabus, what have been the past year questions that will help you prepare for this year if you're targeting to become a law officer in a bank. So let's move ahead. This is the calendar that has been released. So for the specialist officers, so if you are aiming for a law officer, you will fall under the specialist officers or the SO category, and your prelim exam will be held on the 29th of August. The mains exam, all those who qualify the prelims will be able to give the mains exam on the 1st of November. The detailed notification comes out every year somewhere towards the end of June or early July, right? So that is the approximate time when the detailed notification will be out, where they will list down the banks who are participating, what are the vacancies and all, right? So let's move ahead and understand how the pattern has been, because that's what it is likely to remain this year also. So you have approximately 6 months to prepare well for this exam. So let's understand all the details. What is the eligibility? The eligibility to be a law officer at the Scale 1 level, you need to be of a minimum age of 20 years and a maximum of 30 years. Yes, there are relaxations as per the government rules for the various categories, as are always for any such job. From an education point of view, you need to have a law degree in at the bachelor's level. Along with that, you should be enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council. Now, this can be central or state level, any Bar Council, but you should be enrolled. So, law degree, no minimum marks criteria is specified, no experience is required. So all educational qualifications, they should be from a university or institute which is recognized. Now this is the date of reference for last year. This is the time around which the notification had come. So this is only for reference for this year. Of course, whatever time around end of June or July when the date the notification comes, that will be your reference date. From age wise, as I already stated, a maximum of 30 years of age is for your eligibility. So for freshers, for fresh graduates, it is a very good opportunity. If we talk about the vacancy trend of the last almost 10 years, a good number of vacancies comes out every year, and in 2024 we saw one of the highest, 125 vacancies, was later increased, and last year also a decent number of vacancies, around 56, which has been the average in the past, has been the number of vacancies. The banks that participated last year, that is in 2025, this is 2025 data. The banks included Bank of Maharashtra, Central Bank of India, and Bank of India. Apart from that, there are various other banks that may participate on a year-to-year basis. NR means they have not reported till now. They may add vacancies if needed later on, right? So there are various such banks. This is a list of banks which keep participating on and off. So in 2026, as I stated, when the detailed notification comes out, you will get to know about the vacancies. Before I move on, I would also like to tell you that IxamBee has been guiding for the IBPS SO Law exams from the last 4 recruitment cycles, and we are happy to be a part of the various students that are now law officers in various banks across India. On the occasion of the Republic Day, we are also offering a flat 27% off on all our courses from 25th till the 31st of January. So you can also check out the free demo on our website if you are aiming to be a law officer in the bank in 2026. Let's move ahead to understand the exam pattern now. The exam happens at 2 levels. You have the prelim exam, then you have the mains exam, and then you are go through the interview process. So the preliminary exam is testing you on your aptitude, where you are tested on English, 50 questions of 25 marks, reasoning 50 questions of 50 marks, and general awareness with specific reference to banking industry, 50 questions of 50 marks. So a total of 125 marks paper happens. This is there you are also given sectional cutoff, 40 minutes for each, and there are sectional cutoffs also provided. You will notice that in this exam for the law officer there is no quant, so you don't have to study quantitative aptitude or numerical ability for the law officer exam. If we see what has been the trend, so only if you clear the prelims will you move to the mains. And what has been the trend of the cutoff, if we see from the past 8 years, the cutoff has been in the range of 45 to 50 majorly. In some years it also went down. In 2025 the overall cutoff was 46.88, right? This cutoff, this marks is out of 125. Okay, but there was, as I stated, there are sectional cutoffs also. So the sectional cutoff out of 25 for English was 10.25, which has been on the higher side. Before this we had seen that this kind of a cutoff go in 2021 and 22. The reasoning and general awareness cutoff was 6.5 each. This has been higher than 2024. However, it has been still lower than what we have seen in the past. So reasoning cutoff had been going quite high, even in double digits before 2024, and this year we saw a little more increment come in 2025. But this minimum is not enough. Of course, overall you need to get a little higher. 46.88 was the cutoff in 2025. Then all those students who clear this move on to the mains, and in mains you are tested on the professional knowledge, which in your case will be legal knowledge or the law knowledge. 60 questions of 1 mark each, totaling a 60 marks is asked here. You are given 45 minutes to attempt this. Again, based on your performance in this, you are then shortlisted on the merit basis and a cutoff is made, and the marks here will decide whether you will be shortlisted for the interview or not. Plus, the marks of your mains are added to your interview marks to get the final merit listing. So interview stage also happens for all those who qualify the mains, and a total of 100 marks interview takes place. Minimum qualifying marks is 40% for general or unreserved category and 35% for SC, ST, OBC and PWBD. However, this minimum 40% does not guarantee that you will make it to the final list, as the final selection is based on the combination of your mains exam in the percentage of 80% and your interview to the extent of 20%. So what has been the trend of the cutoff for the mains and the final list? For the mains in 2025, the cutoff was 34. So this is out of 60 marks for which, based on which you were called for the interview. This was in line with many other 2023 and lower than 2024. So this year relatively the paper was found to be tougher than 2024. The 24 paper was very easy and direct. The cutoff, mains cutoff in 2024 had been one of the highest at 80.8. This year also it was relatively higher at 70 marks. Why I state that? Because as I stated, the final cutoff is a combination of your mains and your interview in the percentage of 80:20. And a student who would have got 34, now this 34 is actually converted, this is out of 60. So this is later converted into your marks for out of 80. So how is that converted? 34 out of 60 into 80, right? So even if a student got these marks, he would have needed almost 25 marks in the interview, approximately 25 marks in the interview to get the final cutoff, which is not possible. Why? Because the interview weightage itself is 20. So at best a student could have got 20 out of 20. That is also best case scenario, which is really difficult, which means even a student meeting the minimum cutoff would have not been able to qualify the final cutoff even in the best case scenario. Therefore, it is very important that the final cutoff and the main cutoff you understand well, so that you do not stick to only aim for this. We had last year advised that you should aim for at least 42 plus marks to ensure you meet the final cutoff with an average performance in the interview. So all those students who got at least 40 would have with an average performance in interview would have been able to meet this cutoff. So that's for important that you just don't look at the absolute number, but also look at the combination so as to understand how much you have to aim for. This is how the IBPS releases the maximum and the minimum scores. So minimum scores, as I stated, 70 was the cutoff, the overall cutoff, while the maximum, that means a student who has been selected, what is the maximum they got was 85.53 marks. Okay, so this is the range. So anywhere, that means this student would have got at least 48 with an average performance in their legal paper out of 60 to have been able to score these many marks. Okay, so this is how you should be preparing, with an aim of reaching anywhere between 45 to 50 marks to ensure you will be in the final list. So that is the level of preparation you have to do. For the syllabus, for your quant, reasoning, English, the aptitude papers like you give for any exam, you have to prepare on the aptitude topics in your quant, number series, quadratic, basic arithmetic, data interpretation. In English, you will be doing your language, grammar, tenses, error spotting, jumbled up words, sentence improvement. So all these topics is what you have to study. When it comes to your legal syllabus, there is no official syllabus that is given to you. However, based on what are the questions that are asked and what a law officer is expected to know from the analysis of 5 past year papers, 2020, 21, 23, 24 and 25, we can suggest how you should be studying, and you can download all of these past year papers from the description box. So let's look at and understand what are the laws that have been asked. We can divide the understanding of the past years 20, 21, 23, 24 and 25, all these 5 years, into various categories. The first category will be your common laws, or the laws that you study in your LLB also and are asked in majorly every exam that you will give. This will consist of constitution, very important, your contract laws like Contract Act, Specific Relief, Sales of Good, Partnership Act, your civil and criminal laws like the new criminal laws, BNSS, BNS, BSA, and your civil laws and the related acts like CPC, limitation, torts, transfer of property, certain other important laws, and legal theory like the legal maxim, arbitration and conciliation, and your corporate laws like Companies Act, IBC, and LLP, limited liability partnership. If we look at these common laws itself, over the years they have continued to contribute more than 50%, but over the last 2 years, if we see more number of laws getting asked, then for sure 50% of your questions, that means if a total of 60 questions are asked, easily 30 to 32 questions come from these laws itself, right? And you can see the distribution up and down, but majorly, yes, they get covered. Constitution, very important. Every year 2 to 4 questions. This year we saw a relatively lower number, but the constitution is always asked. Again, contract laws had always been important. This year only we saw the minimum number of getting asked in the contract laws. Your criminal laws is another area where easily these 3 will ask you for 5+ questions. When we include civil laws, are easily 10+ questions from your criminal and civil laws get asked. And then if we talk about the corporate law over the years has seen an increase in the number of questions, including IBC and LLP. So Companies Act had always been important. Over the last 2 years, we've also seen more number of questions getting asked from IBC and your LLP Act. So these are definitely the laws which cannot be skipped, and you should do them very, very thoroughly. The next laws, or the category of laws that gets asked, is your banking laws. Now in these banking laws, again, there are different laws, sometimes permutations and combinations of different laws that can be asked. However, what will remain important, and they do contribute around another major chunk, which is around 25%, and we have seen an increase in the number of questions getting asked from the banking laws. This will include your Banking Regulation Act, RBI, negotiable instruments, payment and settlements, SURFACE, RDBFI, PMLA, FEMA, Banking Ombudsman Scheme related, and various other generic RBI directions or regulations related questions also get asked, which we saw a trend come up in 2025. Initially, we saw such questions come only under your prelims, but now we also saw in 2025 certain more questions getting asked from here. The next category, which again has been seeing an increasing trend, is certain acts related to other financial regulatory bodies and the acts that focus on the consumer protection and consumer information related acts. So here also an increasing weightage has been seen. In the past, we saw only securities laws or SEBI related acts. Securities law include actually 3 acts: your SEBI Act, your SCRA, and your Depositories Act. This year, if we talk about, we saw questions getting asked from there and certain SEBI regulations. Again, they were simple regulations, not very complicated. We also saw one question each come from IRDA and PFRDA Act. And in the past, we've seen questions getting asked from RTI, Consumer Information Competition Acts. This year, however, no such questions were there. There was more focus on other financial regulatory acts and regulations. So this is another area where we are seeing a trend moving, and around 10 to 15% of the questions, if we include these acts also, is what contributes to your next of the syllabus. And last category, where around 5 to 10% of the questions can be asked, are various other laws. There is not much consistency, if we say, in these acts that are asked. In the past, however, we've seen questions come from Hindu succession and Indian succession, industrial disputes, Indian stamp, registration, commercial court acts, minimum wages, Indian trust, Legal Services Authorities Act or the Lok Adalat Act, Benami in Transactions and Income Tax Act got asked this year while they were never asked before. So there is not really a specific trend of questions being asked from various other laws. These laws can be varied and spread across various domains, but they can be around 7 to 10%. The idea of breaking this down is to help you understand where you should be putting your energy. Many a times when we look at the past year questions, we'll saw a question from Benami and income tax and we feel they are very important. But you should structure your preparation based on how they have been categorized. As I said, common laws will always form the bulk of your questions, and they themselves consist of so many categories: constitution, corporate laws, contract laws, your civil laws, your criminal laws. They themselves is a huge list, followed by banking laws, various other regulatory and other laws. So in that order, you can always prioritize and strategize your preparation. At IxamBee, we have dedicated content in a manner to help you prepare both for your prelims exam, covering reasoning, English, general awareness, detailed videos, study notes, practice at different level to ensure that you are preparing as per the exam level and not randomly. Similarly, for your mains, the legal content is spread across various laws that are required for your preparation: banking laws, contracts, securities law, other laws, partnership laws, corporate, constitution, civil and criminal laws. You also get legal summaries and section tests to practice further. At the exam level, in the exam format, you also get full-length practice tests to help you understand at the exam level. And when you reach the interview stage, you are also guided through the interview. Our pedagogy consists of crisp video lessons, study notes, Classes, regular live classes are also held to support your preparation, which you will do with the help of study notes and video lessons. Assignment based classes and MCQ booklets and legal summary sheets are also provided to help you in a structured preparation for your IBPS SO Law exam. You can check out a demo on our website. If you need any other help, you can always reach out to us at 920-552-4028. Wishing you all the best for your 2026 SO Law Officer exam.